like seriously, they can take him to the tunnels and he'll be safe.
If he entered through Rafah, which is the Egyptian crossing, and just went into Gaza like that, I think there's probably a more likelihood that he'd be kidnapped by Hamas than precision striked by Israel.
Yeah.
And then pedal it all back.
Like,
It's
seriously,
literally
they was
just
they could take him to the
We're just criticizing you.
It's literally just a silly joke.
It comes across like a fucking pager joke.
It comes across as a pager joke.
Mhm.
Hassan should go to Gaza. And if he doesn't, he should be severely judged by his audience for
I mean,
being a
it's
total
part of
fucking
why
coward.
I judge him. He doesn't know shit about that conflict. He's never been to Gaza, never been to Israel. He doesn't know shit about it.
No, he doesn't.
He does not. But he talks like with such authority. Oh my god. You would think he's been there like 5 times since October 7th, right?
This small bit of premium content is just a tiny part of the larger pattern. Hila's reasoning is just as inconsistent. Let's try and understand it. Hassan can't understand the conflict because he hasn't been there. As if lived experience is the only way to grasp reality. If we were to even go with this logic, then why does she not know about what's going on with the Tesla stock and Elon Musk's actions despite living in the very country where it's all happening?
What if there was a way to know if a stock will be bullish or bearish the day before? The truth is, there actually is one way. Is your trading account suffering right now, but you're wondering, what do I do to start winning consistently and start making those big returns you've seen other traders make, the returns that you know are possible? Here's the honest truth. I struggled like that for a while. Trading did not replace my job for 15 years until I basically had a stroke of luck. My cousin, who's a professional stock trader, making over $2 million a year, finally had me over to his house and show me some behind-the-curtain stuff, so to speak. I know that sounds a little storybook, but it was quite honest.
Tesla's getting creamed lately. Like
they're down like 40%.
vandalizing the shit out of them and like bombing, like firebombing the factory and shit.
Why?
USA.
Like,
I'm a little, like, I don't know if I'm out of the loop, but did something specific happen that all of a sudden this is happening?
I mean, that's quite an integral part of the ongoing events in the United States and its political landscape. Elon's selling anti-Elon shirts in her own shop. And by the way, if you're watching this and thinking, oh, how come all the soft take can do is bring up Hassan? And well, the answer to that is simple. I don't. They do. What am I supposed to talk about? Almost all of their content is referring back to Hassan. I just follow the storyline right. But anyway,
It's really interesting how we just cannot criticize him.
and then
Whatever we dare to say about him in a criticism manner, we are a threat, we are backing genocide, we're children killers, myself, that's what they say about me. It's like, no, I'm just criticizing you. I'm allowed to criticize you and still want good stuff to happen for Palestine.
But
Like, I can do both.
it was really hard for me to find those videos where she shows that she wants good things to happen for Palestine. The ones I found are in this video. But let's talk about the labels Hila deals with. And could it be that they come from Hila's patterns on the H3 podcast? Patterns of deflecting, dismissing, and downplaying Israel's actions.
it's so complicated.
Yeah.
From their perspective, it's like these guys.
But they go specifically to people who they know are terrorists and they have a history of that stuff and they know they have guns.
And the thoughtful criticisms Hila shares about her self-declared enemies looks something like this.
What is this frame, bro? Why are you just like in the corner?
It's absolutely
Frame
terrible.
it up, man. We changed his background.
I hate
AV
it.
would love that. Although,
Hey
look,
Hassan, I
looks
hate
like a
your
pet
new
store
background.
frame. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I think his room looks better with
It
like
makes no
Hamas.
sense.
Or hear about Matt Lee.
It's
Banana, bro.
disgraceful to participate in a snark page. It
Yeah.
is.
And I think it's
Ethan
disgraceful as a-
is allowed
Yeah.
to point it out.
And also
And
as
if
a
that's too much for you, maybe get off the internet.
right, or
And
at least get a
maybe don't work for a reputable company like Red and Link.
okay.
You don't deserve to work there.
Or this very reasonable criticism of Sam Cedar.
I'm Cedar, another one I'm ready to burn.
By the way, Sam Cedar agrees with me. I saw a clip of him the other day being like, saying
Well,
that he's too state.
I don't know.
Too state.
I
I
don't
was
know
like,
if he
I have.
agrees with you because he also like protects Hassan at all costs.
You're ugly and you're dumb and you're not funny.
Hila and Ethan have repeatedly stated that they oppose Netanyahu and his government.
So here's what I'll say about Israel. Listen, this isn't the first time I've said it, and I'll say it many more times. The cabinet is run by genocidal maniacs.
They're led by Netanyahu, who should resign in disgrace and go to prison for being a war criminal. He's made a coalition of the most radically conservative freaks that don't represent, by the way, the majority of Israelis.
They voted against Netanyahu.
You mentioned that we lived in Israel and we voted against Bibi. Even Ethan, we both voted.
Yeah,
I need to hear you say something,
Both
Flips.
time I voted against him.
So, like, what do you guys want from us?
And here's them showing empathy for Palestine and being pro-two-state solution.
The problem is the extremes on both
I'll get you
sides.
some good stuff soon,
The
Flips. Don't you
Orthodox
worry.
Jewish people cause trouble, and the terrorists.
Well, you know,
who do all the terror attacks on the other side, they cause the trouble. But I feel like if you ask most people, especially my age, they'll be like, just do whatever it takes.
they don't
Do it.
care.
Split it. Do the two-state solution. Do whatever it takes.
And by the way, I find it quite fascinating to see how their public statements and attitude has shifted over time.
A lot of drug problems.
The regular people there are, I mean, everyone feels bad for them, even on the Jewish side, and they're just.
What can you do?
They're just stuck there.
On the surface, they seem to present themselves as neutral voices, people who acknowledge the suffering on both sides, distancing themselves from the more extreme Zionist rhetoric.
Yeah, Israel is bombing the fuck out of Gaza right now, which is a horrible humanitarian tragedy that's happening.
But if that's the case, why do so many see them as pro-Israel, anti-Palestine, or even Zionist apologists? They themselves cannot grasp as to why. Could it be because of Ethan and Ela saying things like they want to travel to Israel to show how beautiful the country is and how diverse its people are, all in the midst of a genocide?
We're planning to go to Israel in June with my parents and all the kids. It's going to be such a great trip. And I'm actually really excited to go there. I want to show you guys.
You haven't been there in so long.
What I want to do is show you guys how I see Israel. Because you don't see that. When you listen to Hassan and you hear all these fucking mega lefties talking about it, like it's some super racist, crazy Jim Crow style society.
And after making jokes about Hassan not going to Gaza for months on end, they kind of seem they want to be a bigger part of their own joke as well.
Currently, we're waiting for a peace deal or something to go into effect.
Yeah, we put the visit off while the war is
Because we want to come with the kids and.
I don't want them to have to deal with sirens and seeing all that shit, hearing all that shit,
Or is it Ela's constant IOF apologies instead of finding one critical word about her own service or the IOF in general?
And there's other countries that have mandatory service army.
Very common.
You're just being racist. If you have a problem with the whole country,
including,
that's
by the way,
racist.
Turkey has mandatory military service.
Yeah, and my
flee the
parents
country.
were not the rich kind that will pay to get me out. But even if they were, they would not agree to that because they think it's important to serve like everybody else in the country. I mean, it's a very selfish move to decide, okay, I'm not going to do it, but everybody else will. I mean, when you're growing up with constant terror attacks, the army is a necessity.
Yeah.
For one person to decide, I'm not going to do it, is a very selfish decision because meanwhile you're not doing it, everybody else is doing it and putting their life on hold. Very important years of your personal development, you're putting it on hold to go do this, and it helps nothing with your career afterwards. You finish it, then you start.
First of all, you would also be putting your life on hold because you'd go to jail for refusing mandatory service. And secondly, if it's selfish to not serve in the military because everyone else is putting their life on hold, then how selfish is it to go along with mandatory service and contribute to the oppression and killing of Palestinian civilians? Ela framing the issue that it's simply about mandatory military service is ignoring the unique and highly controversial role of the Israeli military in enforcing occupation. While other nations have mandatory military service, most do not involve an ongoing military occupation of another population. Comparing Israel's conscription to countries that also have conscription, such as Switzerland or South Korea, is ignoring a massive difference. And labeling criticism towards the IOF as racist against the whole country is attempting to shut down the conversation. It's just as Ela said.
It's like, if this is your argument, we're never going to be able to talk.
Well, so far in these few clips alone, you mirrored Israeli government rhetoric by portraying refusal to serve as betrayal rather than moral stance, and you framed criticism for joining mandatory service as racism, despite the IOF's well-documented war crimes. But that's not everything. Let's keep going. Ela seems to deny Israel to children.
People are saying Israel does that on the daily, the IDF
I don't.
does that on the
That's
daily.
not what I'm talking about. See, that's what you're doing. you're excusing people being burned alive and kids being murdered. You're saying Israel does that on the daily. Now I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. So are you in favor of an Iraqi terrorist?
Here's my response to that just by showing the following. An article from 2022 states 2022 to become the deadliest year for Palestinian children in the West Bank in over 15 years. An article from 2023 marks the deadliest year on record for children in the occupied West Bank. This article is about 1 month before the October 7th attacks. Now, it is worth quickly disclosing that the next few articles I'm about to show occurred after she said that she denies this. But Ela never seemed to have changed her mind about this, at least not publicly. An article from 2023, after the 7th of October, more than 3,195 children in 3 weeks. In 2024, the Gaza Strip was recognized as the deadliest place on earth to be a child. And finally, since the breakdown of the ceasefire on the 18th of March 2025, the Gaza Strip has left at least 322 children and 609 injured, constituting a daily average of around 100 children or maimed over the past 10 days, according to an article by UNICEF.
Kids being murdered. You're saying Israel does that on the daily. I'm not denying that. So are you in
This kind of disbelief in what Israel is capable of seems to have rubbed off on her husband, who portrays the country in surprisingly positive light.
People are so weird about Israel media because, like, you'll see people all the time being like, even according to Israel media, they said this happened. But then at the same time, it's like, oh, she reads Israel media, so she's obviously brainwashed and a Zionist. It's like Israel is a free society with free press. It has the whole gambit of
Range of
media
opinions
sources,
in the press.
just like America does. You know what I mean?
Israel seems to have a wide range of media sources. Calling it free press is again comfortably painting Israel in a very nice picture. When you are aware that pressures from the government, military censorship, and violence against journalists are a recurring theme, and then you have Ethan calling Israel a free society here, what could it look like when Ethan, whose wife served in the IOF, comfortably states the opposite of what is widely evident? Freedom of speech, assembly, and the right to protest are enshrined in Israeli law, but are they equally distributed? Reporters Without Borders states Israeli journalists identified as Arab face more intimidation while working. Since the start of the war in Gaza, the authorities have intensified repression against these journalists, as well as against foreign and Israeli journalists who deviate from the government line in the coverage of the war.
Guess I wasn't making
Organized
it
crime
into the
networks
water.
try to restrict coverage of their criminal activities, and in the ultra-orthodox media, women are almost completely excluded. Time. In the deadliest period for journalists in modern history, at least 131 media workers have been killed in the Gaza Strip since the start of Israel's retaliation for the Hamas attacks of October 7, 2023. International media groups are alarmed by Israel's naming 6 Al Jazeera journalists as terrorists. Article 19. Since Israel's war on Gaza began in October 2023, the devastating impact on journalists has been clear. They have been killed in unprecedented numbers, threatened, and harassed. Protecting press freedom remains critical to documenting human rights violations, conveying the voices of Palestinians in both the West Bank and Gaza, and enabling accurate reporting. The Guardian, Jeremy Bowen, the BBC international editor, has accused the Israeli government of blocking journalists from Gaza because of scenes they don't want us to see. Despite all of this, Ethan and Ela continue to paint Israel as a bastion of free expression, and then Ela continues to reinforce a sanitized image of Israel, brushing off any real concerns about press freedom and safety.
I can't get any security assurances against Israel, obviously.
Well, bro, it's not like
Israel that is worried
Look,
about.
it's not like Israel's going to do a precision strike on Hassan. They don't.
Yeah,
but
I
it is
don't-
dangerous. It's a war zone. Like I agree, it's dangerous.
Sure,
They
it's
may.
a war zone.
They may.
But what?
He was in the running for anti-Semite of the year. They may.
Nah,
And
it's
I
a
don't think
different
you guys
world.
understand
Yeah, it's a
Israel. It
different
doesn't
world.
work like that.
They're
there.
not.
Just 3 days after the stream, American Al Jazeera journalist Hussam Shabat and Palestine Today journalist Mohammed Mansour were killed by the IOF.
It's
I
a whole
don't think
different
you guys
world.
understand
Yeah, it's a
Israel. It
different
doesn't
world.
work like that.
As if the country is incapable of such actions, even though reports from groups like Reporters Without Borders, Human Rights Watch, and Amnesty International show otherwise. Here are some more cases that really prove that Ela knows what she's talking about. In 2003, American student and peace activist Rachel Corrie attempted to stop the demolition of a Palestinian home by standing in front of an Israeli bulldozer. Despite her non-violent protest, she was tragically when the bulldozer ran her over.
I don't think you guys understand Israel. It doesn't work like that.
And in response, there were, or even still, Facebook posts from Israelis making fun of her by making pancakes with her face.
It doesn't work like that.
According to Al Jazeera, a report states the Israel-Palestine conflict to be the deadliest conflict ever for journalists. More journalists have been killed in Gaza than in both World Wars, Vietnam, Yugoslavia, and Afghanistan combined, says the Cost of War Project, with Israel's war on Gaza having 232 journalists.
Here we go again. It's nacho night with a side of gas and diarrhea.
Sound familiar? Any of these digestive issues after eating may cause you to second-guess your food choices, and could mean you have exocrine pancreatic.
And I will say it once again, CPJ stated that since the war began in 2023, this has been the deadliest period for journalists since the CPJ began gathering data in 1992. Hila seems to imply that critics are uninformed. Why would Hila so confidently believe that Israel wouldn't bat an eye with Hassan coming to Gaza as a journalist? He happens to be one of the most prominent critics of Israel and quite a large voice for Palestine. Could it possibly mean that you might have a more biased view of the country when you are from there and have lived there for many years of your life?
He's never been to Gaza, never been to Israel. He doesn't know shit about it.
No, he doesn't.
He does not. But he talks like with such authority. Oh my god.
Maybe. Then someone in the chat calls Hila a child, and she says it's crazy.
Bloodthirsty, vile children killers are dreaming about getting people killed. What a surprise.
What reality do they live in?
It's literally just a silly joke.
I mean, can we all agree that it was a mistake for Hila and Ethan to start reading chats from a Twitch streamer that they have been obsessively harassing? While the statement is incredibly hyperbolic, it does stem from the fact that she served in the IOF, even if she had a non-combative role. And yet she continues to read the chat and start to infer that these people are just being anti-Semitic.
It's also like the Jews run everything kind of vibe I'm getting, because like, yeah, we'll send him to Israel and we'll get somebody to kill him.
But what could be the most shocking part in all of this is when Hila seems to be on the verge of revealing something she didn't intend to.
It's not a war zone, it's a genocide.
Monster 1 and Female Monster 2.
Oh, it's not a war zone, so we can't say that it's a war zone? That's not woke enough?
He's going to say it's not a war zone, it's a killing field. Whatever.
No, that's what he's saying. It's not a war zone, it's genocide.
Okay, you can go.
Okay, call it whatever you want. It's dangerous, I admit that, right? So disgusting.
Hila seems like she is mocking or downplaying the fact that the situation is a genocide, as if calling it a genocide is just about semantics rather than acknowledging the reality of mass civilian casualties and displacement. So would Hila also mock the wording of these doctors that have seen it firsthand?
I've worked in a number of conflict zones in different parts of the world. I was there at the time of the Rwandan genocide. I've never seen anything on this scale, ever, and that was also the view of all the experienced colleagues that I worked with.
In northern Gaza, the military offensive that's been happening by the Israeli forces there, we're seeing clear signs of ethnic cleansing as Palestinian people have been forcibly displaced, trapped, and then bombed.
Then Ethan's quick dismissal with,
okay, call it whatever you want. It's dangerous, I admit that. Right?
Reinforces this unwillingness to critically engage with a term, reducing a grave reality to a matter of preference rather than addressing its implications.
I do want to go get
that
desert flower.
What are her thoughts on Holocaust survivor Arya Nair, who says this?
You have concluded that Israel is guilty of attempting genocide.
Yes.
That's a very heavy charge.
Yes.
So one could raise the question, is Hila dissecting Hassan's every word because he's crowned the H3 podcast's mortal enemy? Or is there something else at play? Like a deeper discomfort with anyone who speaks out for Palestine? Because when nearly every pro-Palestinian voice ends up labeled as anti-Semitic or a token Jew, it becomes a pattern. For example, there is Matt Lieb, a Jewish man himself.
Come on, just get used to it.
Or, according to Hila and Ethan,
one of these guys who's like, he's Jewish, and he loves that because he allows himself to be tokenized to the max.
Yeah.
And in response to Matt Lieb's speech in a pro-Palestinian rally, Hila's feedback sounds like this.
You're not special for wanting peace, you know that, right?
Just keep in mind, guys, Ethan and Hila always pretend to stand for a peaceful solution. But even in a peaceful speech of a fellow Jewish man, they find something to mock. Is it because he speaks up for Palestine?
I am so proud to be marching with so many Jews and Gentiles of all ages, races, genders, and nationalities who are brave enough to demand an immediate ceasefire.
Yes, this man is so brave. Just speaking objectively, what is brave about what he's doing right now? He's
Who is he
there.
demanding it from?
Oh, you bitch. Where did you go?
Question. I don't know. Karen Baston? Baston? I don't know.
I'm not speaking to you as a representative of all Jews. I am a bad representative.
Why'd you even say that? It's like, bro, he's playing the token card.
Wait, so
Crazy.
you're saying that Jews don't want ceasefire?
No, he says, I'm not a representative of all Jews because it's probably
Yeah, but so far all he said that he wants ceasefire, but then that does not represent all Jewish people.
Well,
I'm the one that wants ceasefire, but not those other Jewish evil people. Like, what do you think everybody wants, dumbass?
I came from a secular family, and the closest thing I got to a bar mitzvah is when I was 13, and I one time saw my dad send back soup for not being hot enough at the cafe in the Holocaust Museum. That was the thing that happened.
When does he start talking about how do we get ceasefire?
We're getting there, apparently. What a hack. He's a comedian, by the way. Quote unquote. He gave back soup at the Holocaust Museum.
Wow, you guys, so far you're so brave to be there and tell jokes and just
And the
get
Holocaust
applauded.
Museum.
Really brave.
Don't get me started on the Holocaust Museum or like the Museum of Lies. Actually, that's funnily not even. This guy's so.
Well, we were at the stupid museum.
Yeah,
and I saw that you weren't interested, and I wasn't also.
It was the Holocaust Museum.
I do not represent all Jews. No single person represents all Jews, as no single state represents all Jews. Especially not the state of Israel.
This is another weird thing.
Oh my God.
Israel. This is a lie that I see Hassan and people pander. They say that Israel's going to war on behalf of Judaism. They have never. I don't believe.
Are Matt Lieb's words so out of line as they portray? Let's listen to Holocaust survivor Stefan Kapos, who spent his childhood in hiding during the Nazi regime and lost 15 members of his family in the Holocaust. Here he talks in an interview from May 2024 where he says the exact same thing as Matt Lieb in his speech.
I say this as a Holocaust survivor, that the genocide in Gaza is not happening in my name and in our name.
So I know Ila was bored by the Holocaust Museum, but Witchy also pushed back against this Holocaust survivor for saying exactly what Matt Lieb did, that Israel doesn't speak for all Judaism. In Ila's eyes, Matt Lieb is doing a terrible job advocating for Palestine. This man is like a teddy bear. How can you tear apart a 2-minute fun and moving speech into a hateful 8-minute analysis? And sure, Ila says she wants peace. She said it herself.
Everybody's asking for a ceasefire. That's not brave. What do you mean? You want to be brave?
What does he think that I want and you want?
He said it. They say, and they want us. We want all Palestinians to die. That's what they say.
Why would anybody think that? When did I ever say anything like that? Indicate anything like that? And why would they think that anybody in Israel even wants that? Everybody just wants to move on and be able to live their life. Everybody wants peace. You're not special for wanting peace. You know that, right?
He's brave. Yeah, I love how he
that's like
congratulates.
the obvious state.
But if this is how she reacts to pro-Palestinian voices, then how much weight do her words really carry? They don't only go after public figures like Matt Lieb, but they also go for small content creators like this girl from TikTok. Out of respect for her privacy, I won't show her, but I will give a short summary on what her TikTok was. She describes a complicated and deeply emotional reaction towards her own Jewish community. She talks about seeing a group of Orthodox Jews, and her immediate thought wasn't just about shared identity, but about where they might stand on Israel's actions.
I don't want other Jewish people to think that I hate them, because that's not the case. I have lost so much faith in my own community, and I no longer feel this connection.
That internal conflict led to a moment of discomfort and even anger, not out of hatred for Jewish people, as she's really careful to clarify, but from frustration over the lack of support for Palestine. It's not about rejecting her identity, but about grappling with how it intersects with her morals and political stance. And this is how Ila's husband portrays the situation.
I saw this TikTok that blew my fucking mind. This girl, she's on a train in New York, and she's like, I saw these Orthodox Jews on the train, and the first thing I thought was, are they Zionists? get the fuck away from me. I'm like, you hate Jewish people. And that had like 160,000 likes on TikTok. So what am I supposed to think as a Jewish person when this is a celebrated opinion to be on a train with Jewish people and your first thought is, get the fuck away from me, without knowing a single thing about them, without talking about them? That's anti-Semitism. I'm sorry to fucking spell it out.
That's an interesting take on her feelings. The host of Hila's podcast only missed all the context while she sat there with a raised eyebrow. Zero comment from her. Ironically, it was actually Hila who ended up echoing the very misrepresentation Ethan tried to push about the woman on TikTok.
I mean, I could take these guys a little bit more seriously if it wasn't for this curly ass like these fucking double curls.
Yeah, that is disgusting.
It's just goofy.
But also, come on, wearing a full suit in the summer.
You know what? Whatever, dude. Whatever they want to do is fine. But the thing that
the whole place for everyone.
Labeling non-anti-Semitic people as anti-Semitic says more about the person doing the labeling than it does about the people being labeled. It also shifts the conversation away from the actual topic, Palestinian human rights, occupation, etc., and puts the focus on alleged bigotry. But that's convenient, right, Hila? No one is allowed to talk about it anymore. Everything is anti-Semitism, or as Hila calls it,
anti-Semitism.
And if it were up to you, you would also love to see Matt Lieb fired for daring to talk to someone who got to you by trolling and IDF soldiers in
You
the video.
already
And
were
if you
sleepy.
justify your words with the alleged CPS call that was made to the client's house, who half of the internet is responsible for apparently, keep in mind that Matt Lieb had bad empanada on his show way before that happened, and also that YouTube is full of compilations of you guys harassing everyone left and right. Another instance of Hila using her words to show her deep-rooted empathy of the suffering of Palestinians is during the H3's Cope stream for Trump's inauguration day.
Just the other day, BB fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about. He fired him because they had a disagreement, and that's like so Trump code.
Now, I know Hila doesn't like to hear people mention this because, in their opinion, they have dealt with the situation accordingly and put it to the books.
Narc's greatest hits.
Yeah,
this is Narc's greatest.
I think he made.
Let's look into this a little deeper, and whilst we do that,
Can-
keep in mind how she
Can you
repeatedly
take two
tries to
samples
discredit
from the
opinions
same
of
legendary
non-Israeli
animal?
people who speak on the matter.
I think Ethan has a lot of credibility to
Not at the same time, but if it's been a while, yes.
Oh, so like I couldn't go up to that animal and then take a sample from it.
somebody who lives in Israel.
Yoav Gallant was
If you've
a
already
military
done it,
officer that
not
served as
just like
Israel's
just
Minister
now,
of Defense,
no.
and was also the same guy that said that he had ordered a
But if you can
complete
get the
siege
sample,
of
go
the
for
Gaza
it.
Strip. There will be no electricity.
Did
no
you take
food,
the sample
no
from
water,
that animal?
No fuel. Everything is closed. We are
No, I
fighting
couldn't
human
get it
animals,
because
and
he's
we are
floating in the
acting accordingly. Gallant's
damn water.
declaration
I
of
see,
a
I
complete
see.
siege where he cuts off all of these necessities
Well, I'll see if I
amounts
can
to
push him over
collective
here.
punishment,
You can have
which
it if I
points
can.
to a potential breach of Geneva Conventions.
I don't think you guys understand Israel. It doesn't work like that.
Calling an entire population human animals is deeply disturbing.
A really good guy.
Dehumanization is a key tactic used to justify ethnic cleansing.
Shouldn't have used that word. That was a bad choice.
Alas, Ethan would soon find the error of their ways and created an apology video for this wrongful judgment. Now, usually, apology videos are titled things like this. So what title do you think Hila and Ethan chose for their video? Here are 4 options. What do you think it's gonna be? Making things right. Let's move on. Oops, I just like the vibes. I'm suing. Which of these very realistic titles is going to be the title for the video where they apologize for the mistake of calling Yoav Gallant
a really good guy?
Time is up. The answer is yes. The video
Do you want
where
the sample?
find Hila apologizing and explaining why she said
Oh, yeah.
Yoav Gallant,
Here, come take it.
far-right genocide enabler, was a great guy, is titled Hassan is a Weasley Little Liar. The stuff writes itself. So let's have a look at Hila addressing this error.
Hello. I'm here to address something that happened on Thursday's show. we were doing our post-election Coke stream.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, hold
Yeah,
on
nice.
a second. Where is
Oh, and
Ethan?
I can
Why
also
do we
take a
have
sample.
this
Awesome.
guy talking about this when Ela was the one that said
A really good guy.
Oh, nice.
Who just yesterday
So
was
thank
fired
you.
by Netanyahu because he
No
wanted
problem.
to end the war, and Netanyahu wants
All right,
to
take it
continue
easy.
the war, and therefore he fired him. Once he was fired, people in Israel took to the streets and are protesting, being a good thing.
Okay, here is when she comes out to talk. We are 4 minutes in. Now, I'm just gonna put this over here and okay.
I feel like the reason I brought it up was mainly to express the frustration with Bibi and him firing the one guy that was somewhat, attempting at moderation. It wasn't really so much to say Gallant is a good guy. I shouldn't have used that word. That was a bad choice on my part, considering stuff that he has said that I was not even thinking of. Really coming from the concerning feeling of like, we have Trump in office and Bibi just fired the guy that is opposing him. That's all I was trying to say, but I do understand that was not a good choice of words and I would not have said that again. So I'm stepping away for a little while from being on camera and being on the podcast. It's too much and it's not fair for everybody. And yeah.
So, 52 seconds and 96 milliseconds of Ila apologized. She's gone now, and we're 5 minutes in. The video is 14 minutes long. What could you possibly be talking about? Alright, the video is called Hassan Piker is a Weasel. Okay.
What a fucking liar, dude.
Yeah, never mind. But if you can spend hours on a podcast but can't even take more than a minute to sincerely address your mistake and be the one that explains the error, it just makes you such a qualified speaker on the topic. And then this guy,
Little fucking liar.
to explain your wrongdoing, it doesn't look like a good time to outsource accountability. Kudos to H3 for recognizing that you just praised the genocide enabler. From all the feedback you received from the people, that's a thumbs up on their video from me. However, the explanation for this error sort of exposes their neglect in informing themselves of what's going on. This is what Ethan says before Ila makes her appearance.
Later, for whatever reason, this is the same guy who's advocating for the war to end in Israel. And Ila, looking over the news, sees that people are rioting, that people are upset, and that people who want the war to end are upset that he got fired, and that's basically all that happened. We're talking about the fact that he's the only person that wants to end the war, and I personally don't understand how that's not relevant. Here from The Guardian, a left-leaning newspaper you guys all probably know. Here's a headline: Benjamin Netanyahu fires Defense Minister Yoav Gallant.
I don't doubt Ila and Ethan would like for the war to end. She was operating off of the fact that this man had stated he wishes the war to end. But what does this say about how you read news articles and interpret them? Because from what Ethan said on behalf of Ila here, it sounds as if they're just reading headlines and calling it a day. And what was that about a certain someone that doesn't know a thing about this conflict?
He doesn't know shit about that conflict. He's never been to Gaza,
I guess
never
this
been
is
to
to
Israel.
grind.
He doesn't know shit about it.
No, he doesn't.
He does not.
However, when confronted with this topic and moment once again
Is this
in
for soap?
iDubbbz's Content Cop video, she seems to have a different reason as to why she said that.
I want to explain it because people bring it up non-stop. I apologize for it right away. When Ethan made a video to address this on his Ethan Klein channel, I
Next day
made a quick appearance in that video just to say I'm sorry, I misspoke. I shouldn't have called him a really good guy. Like, I don't know why I said it like that. The point I was just trying to make is that Bibi fired him because they were disagreeing.
Here, you don't need to paraphrase it.
I
Let's
feel
watch
like
it.
the reason.
Yeah, why do you have to cut her off, dude? Let her cook. Okay, that's quite different from your explanation when you apologized. Ethan said that she was just reading headlines saying that they want the war to end. Ila then said that he was the only one that attempted moderation. And now she says that the point she was trying to make was that Netanyahu fired him because they were disagreeing. What were they disagreeing on? Let's take a look at the point she was trying to make in the original video.
He looked mean. I thought he was mean just because he looked mean.
No. Well, the big disagreement was that people are fighting for the Orthodox Jews to get drafted as well to the army because they're not.
Motherfuckers, dude.
But Israel.
That's an issue.
Yeah, the Orthodox don't serve.
They don't serve.
Yeah, it's like Amish people too. They don't do that.
But
there's so
everybody
many
else has to.
fuckers. They're so
Everybody has to do it.
Sure.
So it's like, what the.
Dude, the Orthodox are such leeches there.
Oh, you're saying the Orthodox Jews in Israel
Yeah.
don't serve? I thought that like everyone had to.
Exactly, except the Orthodox.
Oh,
And then the Orthodox.
Because they need to sit and pray for God all day.
Never mind, it's a dislike now. So just to be clear, Ila's concern is not that people are being conscripted into a violent occupation, but that some people get to skip the uniform and stay home to pray. The framing is not so much about systemic inequality and appears to be more about wanting broader participation in Israel's military forces.
What do you... So that's a mill. Oh, no, I got the card. I'm just trying to figure out what this oven thing is for. It's not really, like, for the game, just my own curiosity. Like, 'cause that's a mill for grinding up, I guess this is wheat? I don't actually know what this is. Barley?
Yeah. Yeah, that or... Yeah, I have no clue.
I'll look it up. Where's the madam? She's still up here. Okay. And then Harriet is right over here, so let's go see her. Wait. Do I have dead animals on me? Or is it because I'm wearing... Is it? What's her name? What's her name? Miss White Cocaine. What's the collectible around here? Oh yeah, hear you.
Oh, nice to see you again, mister.
Oh, nice to see you too, ma'am. Let me get some worms while I'm here.
Goodbye. Mm-hmm. Without the right equipment, what do you expect to catch, huh?
Exactly.
Okay, then.
How many crickets can I take?
Enjoy.
I can buy multiple.
Done deal.
Okay, good to see you, ma'am. Oh, I thought the sun was just coming up. Turns out it's going down. Harry doesn't smell the meat on my breath. Yeah, I see you, little man. You don't scare me, buddy. I'm like James Bond in that one movie. Yeah. Shut your mouth. Your breath is terrible. Was I in here the other day? This was a cozy place? Maybe not. I don't know. Similar place though.
I know what you've been doing.
Uh-oh.
Not my concern.
Oh. Okay, that's good then. I can yeah, give you a proper bow. Alright. I'm really just here to buy for now, I think.
These are essential. Be careful using them on small animals, mind. It's too much for them, and they'll be taken out same as any bullet.
Okay, good to know.
I'm glad you're buying this. Anything we can do to help our brothers and sisters.
Your hair is ridiculous, Harriet. It's cool though, it's cool. It would fit in well at the art school. Especially your whole getup.
Was there anything else, or?
Let me see. I just want.
All right, let's see what you have for me. These swamps and rivers host so many creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch the world turn on by. Forever.
Okay.
Impressive.
Oh, whoops.
These
I
can
didn't
be
mean
hard
to
to
sell.
catch. And Till next
You
time.
can now carry an additional 10. Oh, did I level up? Did I level up? Oh, I'm still just rank 3, but still, it's... Okay. Do I have any more items? What other items can I carry in my kit? I sold this, right? I can just carry more items. What other items can I need? Even if it help. Should just take that guy's boot. Think we're gonna take a coffee break. Oh yeah, and then I want to go see the madam. Oh, she right here. Only in this place where the sun doesn't shine. Hello. Only in this place where the shadows run from themselves. You said no string could secure you at the station. I can find a better place to rest than this. Come on. I stuck? At the station. Hi, Church. Oh, hi, Church. That should do it, right? Hi, Church. Alright, let's stand in front of it. Look this way. Get one of these going. Come on, cinematic. I think that there was jewelry in there. Is that moonshine? Oh, there's the jewelry. Oh, that's not the jewelry. Should have pulled our cartridges. Okay. There's a squirrel eating the peanut butter off of my doggy doorbell right now. Oh, I think it's done.